All right, we're taking anyone we can get right now. So Jason Falinski's walking the studio. He's only 17 minutes late, but it's not his fault. He is primarily a member of Parliament, I suppose, rather than one half of the Gorman-Falinski panel.
Oh, I know. It doesn't feel right.
We'll have a think about it for your CV. But the members, the voters of Mackellar, the burgers, I should say, the good burgers will be expecting you to cast your vote. So that's fair enough. Look, let's get into voter ID laws. Actually, now, Patrick Gorman was saying, okay, if you actually want to stop multiple people casting a ballot, you can talk about voter ID laws, but that won't be that effective. You can still vote multiple times in that situation. He says an electronic roll would be a better idea. Because then you get ticked off. Well, you go if it's electronic.
Oh, because it's real time and it's instantaneous.
Exactly. So why not do that?
Yeah, well, we could do both things. We can do both things.
Voter ID? Why don't you try the electronic roll first?
Because you still don't know if I walk into a polling booth and I say I'm Tom Connell and it ticks off Tom Connell, then it means I can only vote as you once.
That's true.
Across the board. But you still don't know whether I'm Tom Connell or not.
Well, you'd be asked to give your address.
Is this really the argument that you had me sweating on?
I just think it's a more effective way. This actually stops.
No, it's not. It doesn't, because the fraud isn't just multiple voting. The fraud is people turning up, saying they're someone they're not, and voting for them.
Well, the alleged fraud, the vanishingly small fraud.
No, the vanishingly small fraud that they can prove. I mean, the Labor Party's argument, Pat's argument is that this argument around fraud is vanishingly small. No, what they mean is, and what the Electoral Commissioner means is, for him to catch someone committing fraud, you have to commit that fraud, and then you have to admit to it, because that's the only way he can prove that it occurred.
So the Australian Electoral
what is vanishingly small is the number of Australians willing to commit fraud and admit to it. That's the vanishingly small.
Well, according to you, according to the Australian Electoral Commissioner, it's the thing itself.
Well, then ask him how can he prove it. He doesn't know.
Do you have confidence in the Australian Electoral Commissioner?
I don't want to answer that question.
You don't want to answer that question?
I don't, and there are reasons around it.
In charge of running Australia's elections.
Well, let me. There are a number of issues that I have with the way that our elections are carried out.
Why don't you go through them?
Well, the number of polling booths we have in electorates, the amount of pre-poll that we have, the fact that he doesn't administer pre-poll. So pre-poll is only meant to be for people who genuinely cannot vote on the day.
And we turn into something where you say this is more...
Everyone...
do you have an issue with that?
Yes, I do. His staff, because campaigns are meant to be... Politics is not a game. Politics is actually about who runs this country and the ideas that are going to generate the laws that run this country. That is best prosecuted over a 4-week campaign. If you are allowing, 25, 30% of Australians to vote before that campaign is even over, before they even know what the arguments of both sides are, then how is that good for our democracy? And let's just be very clear about this. The rules are clear about this. You are not allowed to pre-poll unless you will not be or not be able to get to a polling booth on the day.
Right,
Why don't you get the Electoral Commissioner on here and ask him how often the people he employs and what instructions he's giving to the people to employ to make sure that people who are voting at pre-poll do not...
So you think there should be tighter regulations around pre-poll?
No, I don't think there should be tighter. I think he should carry out the law that this Parliament has carried out.
So you're saying the Australian Electoral Commissioner is not carrying out the law and that's affecting democracy?
I'm not willing to go that... Well, the number of people who are pre-polling...
Well, hang on, you are saying...
I'm not willing to... No, Tom, let me be very clear. I'm not willing to go that far. How far I am willing to go to is this. The number of people who are casting their votes at pre-poll, yes, is undermining the purpose of election campaigns and the purpose of our democracy.
And that's only being allowed to happen because of lax enforcement of the law by the Australian Electoral Commission.
Can I tell you? I would like to know what the Electoral Commissioner
is. Is what I said accurate?
I don't know. Is it?
Well,
I'll tell you. My personal observation is that people at pre-poll stations are not asking people why they are pre-polling, much less the reasons that they give, saying to them, no, that is not a sufficient reason to pre-poll. And no. And also saying, can you give me some sort of evidence or assurance that you meet some of the criteria to allow you to pre-poll?
How do you have evidence that you're working on the Saturday of the election? What are you supposed to have?
Well, that would be around assurance. No, that would just be around assurance. So it would be assurance.
So not evidence, assurance.
Not evidence, but if evidence needs to be provided, it should be. But even just asking...
When would evidence need to be provided?
Tom, even just asking the question, why are you pre-polling?
And so this is not happening because you don't... let's just clarify that again.
Yep.
Do you believe the Australian Electoral Commission is properly enforcing the law around pre-polling?
In my observation, in the electorate that I have the honour to represent, the electoral commission staff were not asking people as they were seeking to pre-poll.
Okay.
Why?
If this is such a concern of yours, have you put it to the AEC?
I have, well, it has been raised not just by me, but by a number of...
So you've put this to the AEC?
No, I have not personally put it to
Why
the
not?
AEC. That's a good question. I probably should have done that.
This is something you're exercised about,
I can
and
tell
you're sort of walking up and not quite making some accusations. You're a member of federal parliament. You could put this to the AEC.
To which my answer is a number of people who sit on JSCOM, which is the Joint Committee on Electoral Matters, a number of other members of Parliament, Paul Fletcher in his submission to the review on the 2019 election pointed this out, that pre-poll is being abused, that the period of pre-poll has extended beyond reason.
Okay, you haven't raised it yet, you might. Let me ask you this, because...
Well, no, my point is the reason I haven't... No, can I be clear?
Okay.
The point I haven't raised it is because I'm aware that others have.
Oh, don't see that as a reason not to raise it.
No, it's not. You're right. You're right. But don't
Okay.
think for a minute...
Let me ask you this. What pre-poll has become...
Let me put it this way. I know that this has been raised with him and with the electoral...
What pre-poll appears to have become is something of convenience for voters.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. If we made pre-poll more difficult to carry out, as in enforce the law more stringently, and we got fewer people turning out to vote because they had school sport, they were busy on Saturday. Saturday's a very busy day for parents, and so fewer people voted. Would that be a good thing?
No, fewer people voting is not a good thing.
So couldn't that be the unintended consequence? If people are voting full stop in the election legally for the party they want to, do we really need to worry about whether that's in week 3 of the
So
campaign?
the alternative argument to that is that if you genuinely cannot get to a polling booth on the Saturday of the election, then you should be able to...
But I'm not saying cannot. I'm saying you probably can, but it's quite inconvenient and you might not, because it turns out cricket went late and I didn't get to a polling booth, and I could have, but I thought I'm not going to. That's the point. The convenience is good.
Okay, so you should...
We see these long lines in the US where people just give up.
I'm so sick of this argument. We are not seeking to impose a US electoral system.
I didn't say you were.
But you compared this to the US.
About queues.
Oh, okay.
Jason,
I apologise.
I apologise. The convenience.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Is there a positive...
I guess it's just a trigger word because I hear Pat comparing it to Trump all the time.
We're just about out of time, but isn't the convenience of pre-poll a positive if more
Not
people
when it's 3 weeks out. Not when it's 3 weeks out. Not when the campaign...
We know basically all the election policies by then. There's a
Do we?
Car parks...
So we haven't... Oh, OK, so we're just being cynical now. That was just an easy, lazy line, and you know it.
It was. We'll end it there. Jason.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. All right, when we come back on News